Ciao everybody and welcome back to the Italian kitchen, the kitchen which is in Italy with an Italian person inside. Today we will be making homemade soap. If it is your first time with homemade soap, please have a look at my previous video where I show in details how to make homemade soap. This time I will pass over some details and concentrate on the decoration. This time I was inspired by the fragrance oil. I will tell you later more details regarding this. But before talking about the design and the decorations on your soap, I will show you the ingredients you will need for this recipe. I have introduced a new ingredient which will make your soap even more special. First of all, let us begin with the lye solution. So, simply water, sodium hydroxide and sodium lactate. This is optional and will help you to have a harder bar lasting longer in your shower. After this, the oils. Always my protagonist is the olive oil, so extra virgin olive oil. Nothing but extra virgin olive oil as we are in Italy. Then coconut oil, and then our special guest, shea butter. So, while extra virgin olive oil will give us gentleness for our skin and coconut a lot of bubbles, shea butter will treat us with a nice creamy soap bar. It is very easy to find shea butter online or in stores. If you buy the unrefined version of shea butter, you will find yourself with a very, very smelly shea butter, I have to tell you. The smell of unrefined shea butter is terrible. Nevertheless, you won't feel it in the final product. So if you make soap, it will not smell as unrefined shea butter. After the shea butter, let's go to the other optional ingredients. You know that I have to call them optional ingredients, but they are not optional to me. The first one I want to introduce you is the fragrance oil. Today I got inspired by this fragrance oil, which is called Christmas Tree. I love theme soaps, so I'm not going to make a very Christmas soap, but the smell reminds me of a lovely pine tree, all decorated and with all the lights switched on. The smell is like a forest, like pine cones and pine tree. It is very nice. It is like walking in a forest. So, speaking of walking in a forest, let's go to the color. For the colors, I choose the green and the white. So the green, by the way, is called Enchanted Forest, is a mica, while the white is titanium dioxide. It is not very easy to use this white, this titanium dioxide, and I suggest you to read the instructions. Mine is dispersible in oil, so I will use some almond oil and put some of this inside and melt it so that it will be easier to add it to my soap. If you do not mix very well this with either water or oil, depending on the instructions that you will find on the package, you will find some bits of white in your soap. So take the time to mix it. You could also do it the day before so that you let it infuse inside your oil or water to disperse completely. Of course, you will need also your mold. I will use my silicone mold and the regular tubes that I already explained to you. So plastic containers, spoons, spatulas and your stick blender. On the top of my soap, I will add some sparkling gold glitters. I know it is a fancy touch, but I don't know, I feel fancy. So I will add this special touch to make it different from a normal simple soap. The design technique I will use is called in the pot swirl. I will create 3 colors, so a dark green, a light green and a white, and I will mix them together a little bit in the pot, so that I will have like a marble effect inside my soap. It is a simple technique and you can do it with all the colors you want. The effect will be always different, but really very nice. To make 3 different colors, I will divide my soap into 3 containers. In the first one, I will put the mixture of oil and titanium dioxide. In the other 2, I will put my green mica. The quantity of green mica that I will add to each of the 2 containers will be different, so that I will be able to have 2 different shades of green, one which will be darker and the other one which will be lighter. To go into details, you will have to divide your soap in 3 containers of 430 grams each. You can also eyeball the quantities. You don't have to be too accurate. Then I will be adding 2 grams of titanium dioxide mixed in 2 tablespoons of sweet almond oil, so that I will create my white. Then I will add 2.5 grams of green mica in 1 container and 1.5 gram of green in the other container. I tell you, it is as simple as it looks like, no worries. So let's get started and create our Enchanted Forest soap. I have measured 300 grams of distilled water and 140 grams of sodium hydroxide, and as usual I will put the sodium hydroxide inside the distilled water and not the other way around. So let's do it carefully to avoid splash. We mix it until it is clear. I will now check the temperature. Which is almost 80 degrees Celsius, but it is going to increase probably. So now that I feel that all the sodium hydroxide is melted, I will put it in my sink until cold, or at least at room temperature. I have now measured my oils, so I have 650 grams of extra virgin olive oil, 300 grams of coconut oil and 50 grams of shea butter. As you can see, coconut oil and shea butter are solid. This happens to some oils when the temperatures go down. As you can maybe hear from the background, it is raining here at the moment, so this is the evidence that we are reaching the winter, and my coconut oil is telling you the same story. In order to melt my oils, I need to use a very gentle technique, which is water bath. So I will heat the water on a gentle heat, and I put a cloth on the bottom of my pan so that my plastic container will not touch the bottom and will not risk to be overheated. So while our oils are melted gently in my water bath, I have measured the other optional ingredients. As said, we want to make a swirl in the pot soap with 3 colors. So I have measured 2 grams of titanium dioxide, dispersed in about a tablespoon or tablespoon and a half of sweet almond oil. Then I have prepared 2 grams, 0.50 of this gorgeous green mica, for the other part of the butter, and for the lighter green 1.50 grams of the same mica. So we are supposed to get white, deep green and light green to have a nice swirl in the pot. I am not measuring my fragrance oil because 30 milliliters, which is this bottle, are enough for this quantity of soap. Then we will also be adding on the top some gold glitter to add that sparkle. Get yourself at least 3 containers. You have to be prepared because we need to make white, deep green and light green. So we need to have 3 containers. Then we will do the in the pot swirl, mixing very roughly the 2 greens and the white in one of the containers, and then we will put everything inside our mold. But let's see how it works in a minute. Our fragrance oil. And now I will give a quick stir, quick mix. Okay, we're ready. I'm ready to add my lye solution, to which I have also added a tablespoon of sodium lactate. So here we go. Both the oils and the lye solution are at room temperature. So this is done. Put this away. I will keep this container for mixing my colors. So let us give a quick stir until to a very, very light trace. Hopefully. Okay, we are at a very light trace, but this is what I need in order to divide this into the other 2 containers. So I will calculate 430 grams for each container. Here we are. Yeah, more or less. You don't have to be too accurate because it is only a matter of design. And now the second. Ecco fatto. So now we have 3 parts to make this soap. So I will start adding the white to this. So very quick stir before putting it inside. Okay, so to have some extra white. Then it's time for our deep green. Here it goes. We move this to the white part for obvious reason, because we have to stick blend this, this and then this. So we will go from the lighter to the darker color. So let's move this back. Okay, this is the light green. Okay, and now we will mix. We will try to reach a thinner trace so that we will then mix in the pot the colors. So let's move to the lighter green. Okay. It's a lovely green. I don't know if there will be a real difference between one green and the other, but it is always a surprise with soap, honestly. This is mixed. And here we go to the last part. Okay. I think we are at the right trace. Look, this is the dark green. Wonderful. This is the lighter, which is actually lighter. I don't know if you can see that, but it is lighter. And then we have the white. So in the pot swirl, we have to add the color inside the pot. There's not a rule. Just do it. Okay, we will leave some leftovers to decorate the top. Okay, and we do the same with the other color in different areas of this white. Okay. Voilà. So this is what we have. I will put my spatula inside and turn just a little bit to have the swirl effect. And now we are ready to put it in our mold. This is our mold. And we can now add it all at once inside our mold. The color are not mixing. So I like this effect. Reminds me of an enchanted forest. Very nice. Reminds me also of a mint lollipop, actually. But this is another story. We have some bits of green, and I will use it to decorate the top. So let us tap to avoid bubbles inside the soap, and let us drop some color on top to make a very simple decoration. But will look like special effects. Now I will clean a little bit around the area, and then we will finish with some decoration on the top. Now I'm ready to make some texture on the top, some decorations, and I thought to use a chopstick just to make some swirl as well on the top. And I'm not wearing my gloves just because I'm going to put some glitter on the top, and it is very difficult to put glitters with plastic gloves. So this is why, but I'm not touching the soap Okay, so yeah. Okay, this is more or less the texture I was looking for. So now I will put some glitters, gold glitters, just a few. I don't want to be too fancy, so that's not my style, but you can't say no to glitters when it comes to Christmas, can you? So I'm using this spoon to help me with the glitters. These are cosmetic glitters that I buy where I buy normally my micas. Okay, I think this is enough for me. I'm not a very glittery person, but here we are with our white, double green and gold soap. We will let it rest for, I think, 48 hours at least, because it is very humid here. It is raining at the moment, so I'm sure we will need extra time to have a hard soap, and then we will cut into smaller bars. To avoid soap ash, which is a kind of a white shade on the top of your soap, depending on the process of saponification, on the heat and on the humidity, I will spray the top of my soap with some alcohol, and considering that it is getting cold here in Italy where I live, I will cover this soap with a piece of paper or with something that I will find around here in my studio, just to keep it warmer, so that it will not get cool too fast. So we will avoid unpleasant cracking on the top. You know, you always have to be creative with soap and find the solution before you see the problems. So I hope this will work to have a nice soap also on the top, but honestly we will see when we will cut it. So let's wait and see, and put this to sleep for at least 24 hours. I will be back with you for the cut of this soap. We are now ready to get this out of the mold. I had to wait quite a while because when I made this soap it was a rainy day, so there was a lot of humidity in the air, and this makes your soap being very soft for longer. But now we are ready, so let's go. The color, as you can see, is very light on top, but our purpose was to have a mixture of dark green and light green and white as voila. Looks nice. Look. We have to cut it to see if the inside has a nice swirl. So let's go and cut it and see if our swirl is as nice as we expect. The purpose of this soap was that of being 2 greens and 1 white. So let's see if we manage to recreate the atmosphere of this fragrance, which is called Christmas tree. Even if I love themed soaps, I didn't want to have a real Christmas decoration on my soap, so I kept it simple and tried to get the colors matching with the idea of a Christmas tree, or at least of a pine tree. So, yeah, it is definitely a nice couple of greens and white in a lovely mixture. The smell is gorgeous. It's like walking in a forest, not necessarily during Christmas, but I normally cut about 2 centimeters wide. Okay. Let us, oh wow, yeah, I like it. Wow, look at this. Again, the colors. Oh, it's a kind of a rose design here, like a flower. You can find different decorations on each bar, and this makes it so special. So now I will go on cutting more bars, and then I will put it to rest for about 8 weeks, so it will be perfect as a present for Christmas or whenever you want. I like this technique very much. I think that in the pot swirl can offer you hundreds of different results, and they are always beautiful. Every soap bar is different from the other. Make it even more special. Don't forget the glitters on the top. I'm glad I was inspired by this fragrance oil, which reminds me of my wonderful childhood spent in the mountains with my parents working in the woods. Maybe this is why I wanted to share with you this soap. I know that also shea butter will make the difference, so try shea butter in your soap. It will make them richer and more creamy. If you want to discover more about shea butter properties in soap, I will link you some websites in the info box. And also, if you want to discover where are the woods where I used to work with my parents in the north of Italy, I also will put a link. I think you should know how wonderful the Dolomites are. That is a paradise on earth. And that is one of the richness of my country, Italy. Italy is not a country made only of ancient towns and art places. It is also a country rich in wilderness and nature. So I hope you will discover my country also from this point of view. So thank you for watching my video. Thank you for sharing my love for soap and for my country. Thank you for being here with me in Italy today. I'll wait for you here again for my next video. And since then, ciao e grazie!